It's a waiting game to see whether the outcomes of Thursday night's State of the Nation address it really does roll out. eNCA reporter Nqobile Madlala is out in KZN and has been speaking to small business owners about their take on the president's speech, and she joins us now from there. Nqobile, there's been a reaction flowing in from all sectors, and small business owners are the ones that you have also been speaking to over the last few weeks as they try and come to grips with the real negative impact of ongoing power cuts as the country struggles to get to the other side. What are they saying based on the president's announcements of, firstly, the state of disaster being announced, as well as a minister of electricity being announced as well?
Well, I think the first thing, Marcel, is that they really do welcome the Minister of Electricity being announced, but there's also sort of questions around how efficient that's going to work. Just to take you back a bit, the people that I spoke to are small businesses in the digital environment. Now, you know, these are the people that basically require electricity to be on around the clock because this is the work that this is their working area. One gentleman was telling me that because they do digital, everything is online, which means they need electricity because they need the equipment they're using to function. They also need to make sure that the towers around them do function. Now, in some cases, they have a situation where load shedding sets in, and they do have the equipment up and running because they have a generator. However, because it affects the network and towers around them, it becomes very difficult to work. He was just explaining to me that he works at, in their offices and working with companies that are both in South Africa and overseas. And now, if you look into the overseas part, this is the area where they're still growing in and they're still trying to build relationships. Now, when their turnaround time is expected to be, say, in 2 days' time, be expected to work efficiently. If they do not meet those deadlines, then they look a certain way. They look like they're not doing their work. They look like they're not interested in the work that they're doing, or they're not even serious. So it's very bad for their reputation. At the same time, they have a problem where they now have to work with companies in South Africa, and they still need to restore that motivation and get everybody going, but at the same time make sure that the companies here have faith in them because they are doing their work. But this now becomes very difficult. So load shedding is becoming a huge issue in their growth. Andile was telling me that they've been at work for over 10 years, but in this 10 years it's been difficult to start off with when they were starting up. Now they're fully fledged and running, and they need to grow, but they can't grow because of what's happening. But let's listen into Andile as he explains how load shedding really affects them.
I think we all know that the load shedding is affecting everyone. Like, for instance, the relationship between AJ Digital and Cloud Therapist, where Mr. Kumet, as a professional, understood that we need to go digital, you know. So we sat down and then we came up with this amazing platform called Cloud Therapist, where people can get therapy online, you know. So people, they go to the websites, they join, etc. So imagine, you know, you are going like through depression or anxiety, you've booked an appointment with your therapist online, because people, like, we do have like the physical mental health facility, but people, they have this anxiety of being judged and everything. So having this solution and everyone talking about me as an IT, I run a technology company, you know, people are getting told every day that you need to move digital. But imagine with load shedding, that, for instance, like a Cloud Therapist, they have like the physical facilities, and then they have like the digital facilities, and then they have invested into a digital mental health platform, and then you set up an appointment with a client, and then, or a patient, and then when they log in into, they're going through depression or anxiety, and then when they log in into the platform, and then boom, the electricity is off.
It's like a vicious cycle, isn't it, Nqobile? You're speaking there, Andile speaking to you about how, you know, this set of circumstances really has an impact on the trust relationship that they're trying to build with clients, often new clients, because that's what new startups and entrepreneurs are dealing with. They're creating a relationship from scratch, and this is making it difficult to do that. And then at the same time, government is calling on these businesses to trust us. We're going to do what we can to help you. There's going to be loans. We're going to, there's going to be tax write-offs for you getting into solar energy, and the list goes on. But it's very difficult then to say to trust us when they have been finding it difficult to build that trust relationship with their clients. What are you hearing from them about whether they trust what government is saying about what they're going to do?
Well, talking about trust, Marcel, at this point, it's a wait-and-see game. I mean, when you speak to small businesses, they were very clear in saying that in the past, they've been promised a lot, but it hasn't filtered in. Interestingly, Andile says, over the 10 years that he has worked in his company, he has never received a grant from government. Sure. He's sort of had to try and manage and sustain himself, and it doesn't matter what happens. And so in this case, there's a lot of mistrust in what is happening, and everybody's just saying that, you know what, you must just stand up, get it going, just do it yourself and see what you can do. And this is exactly what he was saying to me, that he has tried, he has made sure that he's functional, however way, without government intervening. And whether or not these resolutions that the president has now given to the nation and also to these small businesses, whether or not it does get implemented, they're still yet to see. And they are saying, really, once it is, then it would be very helpful. Now, you'll remember that, Marcel, in all these cases, some of these businesses still own loans. They still have to pay back the money that they used as capital and so on. So it becomes very difficult for them to sustain themselves, to function and not be in debt. So he was just, him and Mr. Gumede was saying that it's very difficult. So right now, if government says there is a grant that is going to be provided to small businesses, they would really appreciate it if it does filter in and it gets to them, because it is a time of need and they really do need it the most. And they might just be the two that we were speaking to at the time, but there's a lot of businesses that still need that money. So they're saying the turnaround time needs to be quicker. By the time the help arrives, most of them have made a plan, or it doesn't arrive at all. So there is still a lot of trust that the government still needs to build within these small spaces, small business spaces, so that they're able to grow and give them a conducive environment for them to grow.